Greetings, ladies and melogents. Welcome to this latest narration of the web series The Princess and the Human. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 43. The Princess and the Human. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Nadine finished her retelling of the events of last night. When she was done, Gathai needed to process everything that she'd just heard. There were a million questions in her head, reaching all the way from the girl's well-being to the fallout of her actions. The ambassador, is she? What? No, why would you? Okay, I can see why you would think that, but no, she's alive. She's currently being detained in one of the guest rooms, I think. The captain said that he'd get your colleague to check up on her. When she wakes up, she'll probably get interrogated and brought down here, and then your names should be cleared. That was good. Even if the ambassador was likely to be executed for her crimes, Nadine could have been in trouble if she'd killed her before the hearing. And what about you? How do you feel? Her head stumped a bit. Not great, but honestly better than I thought I would. I killed this guy without a second thought, and yet, he had a weapon, and he did try to kill me, but it was just so easy. To be honest, it's a bit scary. That made Gathai think back to how Nadine was when she'd first arrived in Homne. Back when the doctor had foolishly assumed that a bit of research was all she needed to help the girl. Once she was out of herself, she needed to find a better way to evaluate her. But for now, I'd love to say that I know what you're going through. Unfortunately, I can't. I have a long way in front of me to understand everything about you, but I promise that I'll not leave you alone in this. I might not yet have found a way to truly help you, but know that I'm here for you. Know that you can always come to me with your sorrows, that you can always talk to me. And I'm sure that, if Her Highness were with us right now, I guarantee you that she would tell you the same. A glistening wetness started to appear in the small alien's eyes and made the light dance off of them. She swallowed heavily before answering. Thanks, Doc, and I promise that I'll no longer bottle things up like I did, and both you and your Highness, Lady Nadine. A call from the entrance interrupted the two. Both turned their head and found the panting Mahita standing at the doorframe, seemingly having given up on maintaining a strict, dignified form the head maid usually insisted on keeping. I didn't know you had returned. Oh, sorry. Should I have said something? Once I told everything to Keska, I came down here right away. What's going on? Did something happen? Yes, Her Highness is awake. Nadine's eyes opened, so wide that they seemed to almost double in size. She threw an apologetic gaze at the doctor, who simply chuckled, both from relief and her reaction. Just go to her, I'll be fine. As you said, things will sort themselves out from here on. The front end of Sakvani's sickbed had been raised to allow her to sit. Dr. Jarchow had told her that she needed more time to recover and therefore shouldn't leave the bed yet. Said doctor was currently poking one of the fingers at her lower left arm with an apparatus that had a thin rod sticking out of it. The princess's lower arms were currently resting in a noose that was fixed around her shoulders, each forearm tightly fixed with a splint to keep them straight, while the corresponding hands were hanging down limply. Can you feel this? He asked, with a slight electrical impulse that discharged in a joint. Numbly. That's probably from the pain medication. But you do feel a touch and electricity, yes? I do, a slight prickle. Can you move the finger? No. He then tapped the stick against the finger on the other hand. What about this one? Same. Dull feeling, but I can't move it. Next was the left wrist. The same here as well? Yes. He nodded and put the apparatus away. As I feared, complete fracture. The wound was closed and splintered well, but you'll have to learn to live with two arms for the foreseeable future. Until your next molting, do not, under any circumstances, attempt to use your lower arms. If the new shell breaks while they're still being formed, you'll have to wait another molting cycle for them to heal. Understood. Do you? She interrupted herself as a figure appeared in the broken doorframe. Even though she had only been awake for maybe half a day, it felt like ages since the last time she had seen the human girl. As the two locked eyes, a moment of silence followed, during which they simply looked at each other. Or maybe it was a complete silence. Maybe Dr. Jarchow was still talking to her. If so, she didn't notice. Doctor, she finally addressed him, not knowing or caring whether or not she was interrupting him. Is there something else you need to do? Well, I wanted to do some more tests. Do they need to happen now? No, not necessarily. Then please leave us alone for now. He hesitated shortly, but then bowed and left. As soon as he was gone, Nadine dropped all formal etiquette and sprinted to the bed, making Sakvani almost flinch. Good morning, Nadine. Is it morning already? It is, she answered with a smile. It is. How are you feeling? Well, I'm alive, thanks to you, as I heard. Me and Doc, for sure. Mihita told me that Cathay is in a bit of a predicament right now. The small alien shook her head. Don't worry, it's about to be sorted out. No, that sounds like you have a story to tell. She most certainly had. Silvani only heard a rough retelling from Mihita, so she appreciated that Nadine started her explanation the night she collapsed. She told her how she'd broken her out of her room, how she and the doctor had desperately tried to save her, and her broken arms in the process. She talked about the staged suicide, the failed attempt on Nadine's life, and finally the chase through the city. That is definitely enough to bring her to justice, Silvani commented once Nadine was done. But not the end of it, the small alien reminded her. Someone brought the poisoned drink to me, or poisoned the fruits. Someone used Doc's license. She can't have done all of that on her own. I doubt she would cover for her accomplices now that her deeds have been revealed. But you were right. We'll have to conduct a thorough weeding. She leaned back in her bed. But others will do that. You have done more than enough. If you want, I can try to mask the incident and silence any of those who saw... No, I'm done hiding. I appreciate that you kept my existence secret for my sake, but this can't go on forever. I chose to take on an active role, and I stand by that. Very well, Silvani chuckled. To be honest, I am glad you chose so, because otherwise I couldn't have given you more than a mere thank you. Nadine blinked a few times. Wait, you're not planning on giving me an award, are you? Why not? People have been awarded for way less than what you did. But I won't have to hold a speech, right? I'm not good at speaking in front of many people. With this, Silvani became unable to contain her laughter. Laughing hurt her, but she couldn't help it. That's what you're concerned about. Well, I guess that can be arranged. But you won't get around meeting my parents, so better prepare for that. Oh yeah? She retorted with a grin. Then you better also prepare to meet my father once we... Her gaze fell as her voice died mid-sentence. Nadine? No, it's fine. Silvani took a deep breath. They are out there, she finally assured Nadine. Somewhere, I'm sure of it. Think about how resilient you are, then imagine what an entire ship of your kind can do. Who knows, maybe they already met another member of the Alliance. Word travels slowly beyond the high plains. When this ordeal is over, I'll send word to all members, I promise. The words hung in the air for a while, but in the end, Nadine seemed to reignite her determination. Your Highness, I'm sorry, what? That's what my family calls me in private, Silvani explained slightly sheepishly, and sometimes not just in private. But I'm not your family. I couldn't not. And here I remembered you saying that I'm like your big sister to you, despite being not even half your age. That was I was. Don't you want us to be like sisters anymore? She knew that she was teasing, but she couldn't help it when she saw the alien's face turning a deep red. Oh, of course, but are you sure it's okay? I mean, you're a princess and I'm just someone. You may have been when we met, but not anymore, not to me, and that's ignoring the fact that you saved my life. After being the reason that it was in danger in the first place, and then saved it again. You were the one who allowed me to carry on. Saving you 1,000 times could not compensate you for all the things you did for me. You also averted what could have escalated into the biggest disaster our world has seen since the Alliance War. Okay, now you're just making shit up. You underestimated political chain reactions. For a moment, both just looked at each other, equally defiantly. But in the end, they shared a heartfelt laughter. How about this? Silvani proposed in the end. We stop trying to calculate what each other owes, debts and favors, and just say that sisters look out for each other. Nadine gave her a warm smile and nodded. It was a fine solution. That was something both the princess and the human could agree on. End of Book 1. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, HenryTheRed, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.